And welcome back, everyone. And we're here now for the second part of our session today. And today, this session is all about, am I too old to be an apprentice? Now, another massive myth is that apprenticeships are just for young people. And I've got two lovely ladies here who I won't mention their age, but probably wouldn't consider themselves young. And I'm sure they probably won't take that offensively. So we've got Chantel Fry and Regina Scudmore. I'm going to allow Chantel to introduce herself first of all.
Hi everyone, I am Chantel and I have recently completed a customer service level 2 apprenticeship at EMH Group.
And just to sort of touch a bit more on that, Chantel, where did you hear about your apprenticeship and what made you, choose to do an apprenticeship?
I was basically in between jobs. I was working at an organisation called Premier Inn for a little bit, but I wanted something a little bit more. So I was just scrolling on the Government Job Centre website one night and I saw an advert for apprenticeships. So I headed over to the apprenticeship website and just was scrolling through, and I was actually really surprised how many apprenticeships there were, and basically you could virtually do an apprenticeship in everything. And so EMH was not the first apprenticeship I applied for. When I was a little bit younger, I always thought I wanted to do something a bit more hands-on, a bit like in a more caring role, and I applied to do dental nursing. However, I only lasted about a month there because I really did not enjoy it. So back to the drawing board. I applied at the group at EMH and was offered the position, which is amazing.
Fantastic. And Regina, yourself, same questions to you.
I love you, Chantel. When you said very posh, that's what I was called at work. I'm not posh at all. None of us are posh here. Anyway, my name is Regina Scudmore, and I worked at the Buckingham University. I joined the catering team in 2016. Then within a year, I was offered this apprenticeship, and today I am a qualified chef.
Fantastic, brilliant. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you first, then, Regina. Did you ever feel you were too old to do an apprenticeship?
Oh my God, yes. Now I know you didn't want to talk about my age. Yes, I was 50 when I was offered this apprenticeship. My manager, my old manager, who's retired now, she offered me the apprenticeship. To tell you the truth, I didn't know much about apprenticeship. So I had to Google, but then it took me a week to actually answer to my manager to say yes, whether I wanted, because at this age you have a family commitment, and whether you have the stamina, you have the energy to go to school. Basically, it's going back to school after all these years. So yes, of course, I did feel that I was old, and I remember when I did say yes, everything went ahead, and I had to go to college to meet my tutor. And of course, I parked the car, I walked in, and just teenagers around me, and not the nicest people. Sometimes I have got teenagers in my home, and I sat there thinking, what am I doing here? It's really not for me. I got really upset at that point, thinking, should I be here? Should I be doing this? Anyway, then I was introduced to my tutor. That was in MK College, Chef Oxley, Tony Oxley. Sorry, Chef. I think he's watching me. He. We all went around, had a good old chat. But you know what? It was really amazing, because there I was, worked up, didn't want to be there. I really nearly walked out. But he embraced everybody. He treated everybody the same. There was no age gap. We were all in the same situation. and he actually welcomed me in the team, and hence today, we are great friends.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Regina, for sharing that with us. I'm going to go over to Chantal now. Chantal, you talked about, you when you were younger, you did an apprenticeship, you left after a month, and then you did a second apprenticeship. And obviously that's what you're doing right now. What was the difference between, and I'm not, maybe it's not specifically the topic of apprenticeship, but what was the difference in your experience when you were younger to how it is now?
So it wasn't that I was younger, so sorry if I got that little bit muddled up. So it was just before I applied to the group. So when I was younger, I had like cleaning jobs and things like that, but I also had my children quite young. So I was 18 when I had my first, 19 my second, and then 2 more have come along since then. So as an older person going into kind of like the workplace, I feel like there's almost like you are expected to know about the field that you're going into. So I remember walking into the office, and they sat me next to this lovely guy who's like quite significantly younger than me, and we just got chatting, and I almost thought the more people that I spoke to in the office, the less that I had in common with people, because basically I'd done all of my children. I'd done pretty much what I wanted to do already, and then here was me, basically like a fresh face but an old face as well. And I didn't want anybody to see me as like a mum figure or anything like that, although I do look like a baby face. I'm really really not that young. So yeah, there are quite a significant amount of young people in the office that I worked in, but there was also some like more older people. And I think as doing an apprenticeship, when I was like in my teens, it was more geared towards those 16-year-olds who left school with no qualifications. So you had to kind of get them to do something. So why not go to an office and empty a few bins and staple a few pieces of paper together? And honestly, even after all of this time, I honestly thought I was going into the office to follow round a more senior member of staff and take notes and file and empty bins. But it was literally a world away from that. Yeah.
So I just want to ask you both, really, and I'll start with yourself, Chantal. I'm probably making some assumptions here, and forgive me for that. But I'm assuming when you started your apprenticeship, your children were probably quite young.
Yeah. So when I started, my youngest was just going to school. So he wasn't at school yet. He was still at nursery. He's 6 now, bless him. So yeah, it was very strange times, because for 10 years prior to getting a job, I had been at home with the children. Me and my friend often joke about it now to say, what did we do? Why did we get jobs? We could still be at home having a nap in the afternoon on the sofa, with the babies. But it has been amazing. So I had like a 4-year-old, and I also had a teenager, 2 teenagers actually at the same time. And it just was mind-blowing, going from basically being at home, being available, to then having to sort out like what my children were doing, what I was doing, what I was making for dinner. Whereas before I'd just go to the freezer and rummage around. Actually, I couldn't be like that, because I'd literally just walk in, and then I felt like I was starting another job all over again after I'd been at my day job. It was kind of like my night job.
And how did you manage your studying around that as well?
So it was very difficult. I am a kind of person who actually cannot focus and study at home. I am hopeless. I have no workspace, and as a person, you're always looking around. You've got beds to make, or dinners to plan, or just the Hoover to whip round. So I always made sure that I had time to do my work in the office. And I think it really helped with the organisation let us have 20% a week off the job training, which is basically where I could go and do some studying, or I could join the classes that my learning provider was putting on, you know, catch up on any work. I work like at quite a high speed, so I always used to do my apprenticeship in between doing something else. So it was always like I could do a couple of things and then I'd go back to do my job, and then do some more things and then go back to my job. So from a learning from home point of view, I couldn't do my apprenticeship at home. You know, the kids are knocking around, you've got Disney movies playing in the background, Peppa Pig, you've got the kids on the iPad, they want snacks. There was no way that I could have managed to do it at home. But in the office, when I was just me, I wasn't somebody's mom, somebody's cook or cleaner, it was, you know, it's a world away from doing work at home.
Brilliant. Regina, yourself, how did you manage sort of your apprenticeship around your home and family life?
It's very interesting, Chantal, what you just said. Your children were little, mine are teenagers. So to go for a mother to go out to study, it's very, very hard when you have got kids. So I was at home for many, many years. My husband worked away from home. Life was great until he decided to work from home. And this is when I decided to go and find a job for myself. And I went and got the job as a catering assistant, and I was offered this apprenticeship. But the problem is I thought my kids are going to secondary school, they don't need me, so I'll be fine. But it was really, really hard, because I left home in I'm from Mauritius. I left home in '92 to go and venture in Asian culture. You do study, but then you get married and that's it. Life is over. And I didn't want to do that. I came in this country to make a life for myself. But of course, you know, through many, many things, I got married. So unfortunately, not unfortunately, I'm really happy. I left this culture and I got married to this English lovely man, but very old fashioned, where, you know, you're at home, you got to do, you know, look after the children, cook and stuff like that. And I didn't want to do that. But anyway, here I was working, and I had teenagers. It's hell to live with teenagers. My daughter, you know, I had to work. I had a full-time job. I had to attend to my family, all the cooking, all the cleaning. No one does anything here, nothing. So weekend was, you know, cleaning, washing, and my colleagues are so tired of me listening to my chores every day, what I do. And before you know it, it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I have got to go back to school, back to work. So there was no time. So basically, work full time, come home, try to figure out what to give children to eat and husband, and then weekend, the same thing, and do your coursework. So I will stay up until 2 a.m. to do the coursework. And I think it's because you're mature, being older, you know, the minute you get some work, you do it, you know, you get it done, and at least, you know, so I was on top of work, I was on top of all my coursework. Except for at home, yelling and screaming, 2 years of yelling and screaming to my children. That was really, really hard, very hard. But, you know, no regrets at all.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing those really inspirational stories. And I hope we didn't offend any teenagers who may be tuning in today. But, you know, I can imagine.
I heard someone say that younger ones find it easier to go, you know, to work because you've got these older people telling them what to do. I think it's the same everywhere where you go. Now, I was the oldest, but work was my sanity. College was my sanity too. I felt I needed to get away. So this apprenticeship was great for me.
Brilliant, fantastic. And I know my mother, who's 60 plus, and says she never wants to retire, but, you know, retired to look after her mother. She said she went to university. I remember she went to university at the age of 55, and she would sit there amongst all these younger students, and they would call her auntie out of respect. Oh. And she said, don't call me auntie. I've still got enough mileage in me. So it's great to sort of learn. And I think it seems to be a common thing with with older people that, you know, college and learning and work is more of an escape from home, and actually for them it's you know, they're still able to go out and achieve things that maybe, you know, during your home life, you know, you've had your kids, you've done everything you wanted to do, and it's about doing something for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I go with your mum. I was at college every once a week. You know, I was there, and there was mothering all these younger one around me. You know, they're teenagers. I've got teenagers. You know, telling them, "Come on, you need to do your work. You know, get it done straight away." So yeah, it's one of the things you feel. You know, you're that, you know, older, and you're looking after everybody.
Yeah, I agree actually. It's so for my oldest is 15, so for the last 15 years I've been somebody's mom. I've been like, oh, so and so, I'll just grab your mom, or is it, you know, whenever you get a phone call, oh hiya, is that so and so's mom? But actually the day I walked into the office was the day I was no longer just somebody's mum. Not that there's anything wrong with being a mum. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've also hated it at times. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. But to be able to get back my independence, to be able to find the missing puzzle piece in my life, which is what the apprenticeship gave me, I was no longer just somebody's mom. I was Chantal. I was a valued member of the team. You know, I was the go-to person if you had a question. We had new starters. I could, you know, in the kind of buzz that it gave me when I left my house and I no longer had to worry about picking up toys off the floor or wiping somebody's nose. I left, and then all of a sudden I just transformed into Chantal, and I found out what I liked and what I didn't like, and, you know, what makes me tick, and how my learning style was. It wasn't just about trying to get a 4-year-old to learn to write his name. All of a sudden it was about me trying to do my level 2 in maths, and I was like, I haven't done maths for 15 years. This is crazy. But it was it has been absolutely amazing to be me, to be who I am rather than somebody's mom.
Brilliant, fantastic. Thank you so much, ladies. We are running out of time, and I just want to ask you both if you could please just if you was talking to, you know, someone who's elderly, and you wanted to, you know, they came to you for advice, what would your one piece of advice be for them? And Chantal, if you want to go first, and then Regina afterwards.
Oh, that's a good question. So my one piece of advice is, I would just say, don't worry. I know it's easier said than done, but I remember all of those nights in the run up to my first day, and I would lay awake and I'd feel like I'd make a fool of myself, and I'd wonder what people thought of me, because I am a bit out there and a bit crazy and loud, and I have very little filter. As older apprentices, I think you've been around the block a few times. You've gone where you needed to go, and you've got some experience. Obviously that might not be in that field, but your experience is valued. So whatever you've got to bring to the table, just bring it all the way. Don't worry, and just enjoy it. Just accept it is what it is and enjoy it.
Regina?
My advice would be, you know, yes, we have kids, you know, we our life, you know, we just get so involved in a family life, and we don't think around beyond that. You know, whether you have a dream, you always had a dream, especially this time, lockdown, people, you know, have nothing to do. You know, they're thinking, what else can you do? And yeah, people are going out, they're finding other stuff that they always wanted to do but couldn't do because they have a job, they have a family. So I think people need to think, you know, I can do this. You know, it's never too late to go out there, no matter what age, to go out there and find a skill that you want to do. And that's what I did. I went out there, you know, it was my dream to become a chef. Working at the catering gave me that chance today. And thanks to my manager who offered me the chance, and having all my colleagues and the people I work with, a head chef, Mark Lizard, who's watching me today, never gave up on me. You know, did everything in his power to make me become what I wanted to. So yeah, you know, just go out there. It's never too late. You're never too old. Whether you're young or old, just go for it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much to both of you for sharing those really inspirational stories. And, you know, as a parent, I know parenting is probably the hardest job in the world that you will ever do. Nothing is ever in your hands. You can try your best, and that's all you can do. But, you know, as Colonel Sanders, he only founded KFC at the age of 65. So you never know when your calling is. So, you know, stick in there. If we have got any older people watching today and you're interested in an apprenticeship, here's two fantastic ambassadors to tell you that, you know, if there's an opportunity there, take it. Brilliant. Thank you so much, ladies. We're going to move on to the session now, guys, which is how to go over and beyond in your apprenticeship, and also how to deal with adversity and challenges.
Did we run out of time?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Oh, what a shame, because I had so many questions. There was 2-3 questions there.
Well, Regina, if you've got time, I'm sure people would love to have one-to-one conversations with you at 2 o'clock.
All right, then.
Brilliant.
Lovely talking to you, Kasim. Lovely meeting you, Chantal. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, ladies.